Well, it's June 21st, or close to it, and that means that I get to cover another of those good old Agatha Christie classics, butchered by hacks and strewn out over the course of a hidden object game. This is the second of two games included in one pack. It's like getting two turds in one tin. The first being Miss Marple in 450 from Paddington, and as you can probably guess, this is the exact same fucking thing. Because there's so much to talk about in this game, I needed to make two videos on it. The game asked me to enter my name, so I opted for Shitgibbon, because why not? So, unlike the last game, this one has an opening comic. Wow! Some actual fucking story! Almost like a cutscene. The entirety of this crap is introduced to us in 10 panels. Yeah, that's right, 10 fucking panels. The panels aren't animated, voice acted, or anything that even resembles quality really. And the art is pretty bland. I mean, it's not the worst, it's legible. I can tell what I'm looking at, but the backgrounds have no detail, or don't exist at all in some panels, and details on the character models are pretty minimal as well. Not to mention either that this thing is in such a rush that characters actually come in and out of the story in 3 fucking panels. Well, to be fair, there is one thing I like about this, and that's this woman's face. On the 5th panel, it kinda cracked me up. Honestly, this is like a book report told by a kid who didn't prepare and also has diarrhea during the presentation and is trying to spout out the entire concept before he shits himself. Everything is just sort of thrown at you haphazardly, and it comes across as really stilted and weird, as every piece of dialogue is 100% necessary. There's no establishing panels of any kind, whether it be scene or character or plot. This means there's no time for pleasantries, no time for any form of conversation. It is literally just down to business as soon as possible, with the exception of one panel which doesn't have anything on it. I guess it had to be this way so that they didn't have to pay more than 1 day's work to the minimum wage artist who drew this crap. I'm not really against comic styles in games, especially when they can't afford cutscenes like this game clearly couldn't. Metal Gear Peace Walker did this quite well, animating the panels to some degree and voice acting them to make them slightly animated cutscenes. It was stylish and interesting for the player to observe. Compare it to this, and this is more like someone threw the cliff notes at you and then just shouted, "Here, read this shit and then click next." They then tell us who's who, like we give a shit, and it's revealed that this lady is setting up a murder party game. It's kinda like an Easter egg hunt mixed with Cluedo. I honestly can't tell if she's tricked Poirot into coming here to play her game, or if she really does think that something bad is going to happen. It's not very well conveyed, and I don't care. Also, 10 panels, and they managed to make a mistake on the last one by leaving a random speech mark before buts. Classy. Real classy. The veil is then lifted, and we're finally exposed to that familiar user interface. Yay. Then we get dumped into a garden and oh my fucking god! No! Not this again! Fuck! Seriously, it's been a year since Miss Marple. I still feel like that's not long enough for me to ever want to do this again. I remember the feelings coming back. My stomach slowly eating itself due to frustration. Anyway, I bite for a bit. It's the same shit though. Exactly the fucking same. Needless to say, a lot of these are kind of easy because this is the first one. The number 3 is in a pretty shitty place, admittedly, as it's carved into a fountain, but I kind of have an eye for this shit now because I'm so used to it. I honestly had no idea what the fuck a hank of iron wires was. Like, what constitutes a hank? Is that a measurement? Or, fuck, who cares? I honestly thought that a fish bone was going to be like a really thin fish bone. You know, like the kind that you choke on. And that honestly gave me shakes having to comb the entire image to find that. For me, the hardest of these items was the fan. I thought it was this thing, but no. I'm an idiot. It's actually this fucking thing on the tent roof. Which is A, exactly where you'd put a fan in real life. And B, I'm an idiot for not noticing the beige fan resting on the beige tent roof. Seriously, I have 20/20 fucking vision, and I honestly pity anybody who has really bad eyesight who tries to play one of these games. I couldn't even fathom playing this if I had any form of, you know, like blurry vision. I couldn't do it. I can't even do it now. After finding half of them, or something, you get interrupted as a clue card comes up and some guy says something vaguely offensive. You know, like 1920s, oh, it was a different time stuff. That feels like it's trying way too hard to be edgy, usually through being sexist or implying that all hippies are communists and we should pave the way for the master race. That kind of shit. Honestly, compared to shit like Family Guy Back to the Multiverse, which I will unfortunately have to play someday, this is so tame, they shouldn't have even bothered. After finding 11 pointless items, we found the one item that has a point. The item was covered up by something, and it was a photograph of a room. We have to go to the room and have to do the process all over again, just like real detective work, where the murderers leave photos of crime scenes for cops to investigate. Just accept it and move on, okay? It'll go a hell of a lot quicker if you do, and logic really has no place here, so I wouldn't fucking bother. We then get onto the second level, and fuck me, I'm bored! I'm actually fucking bored! Jesus Christ, what's the point in any of this? So, find the objects, like a good little lab rat, and suddenly, you're rewarded with some cheese!
Cheese! For everyone!
Gameplay that isn't picking random shit up off of the floor. Oh, Hosanna! I've got this letter from someone, and it tells me that info about the suspects that I never asked for. The problem is that the letter has been, well, fucked. The words have been ripped off the page and left out as like little clippings, like a serial killer was using them to make clues for the police to follow, and now I have to stick them back on. What the fuck kind of sense does this puzzle make? Like, on a logical level, in the story, in the game's universe, what sense does it make? I mean, the only way this could make sense is if Bland, the guy who wrote the letter, deliberately left these words out and then added them as separate pieces of paper so that Poirot would have to waste his time sticking them on. There is no way in hell that a detective would ever have to do this in real life on a letter addressed to him. You know, unless Poirot got a rubbing of a letter and some of the words were faded. That would be a good reason to have this. The words were missing because he couldn't rub hard enough because he had to be quick, because he was stealing somebody else's letter and they could have caught him. But no, this letter is addressed to Poirot, and I'm pretty sure that the only deduction that can be made is that Poirot did this himself because the French wanker has nothing better to do with his time. Okay, I can actually feel a tumour growing inside my head that's currently the size of a hamster, so let's just try and find the right word. To Mr. Criminal Poirot, no. To Mr. George Poirot, no. Oh, I got it! To Mr. Amy Poirot, no. To Mr. Murderer Poirot, no. Shit, thought I had it then. To Mr. Horses Poirot, oh god fucking damn it! After 5 minutes of fucking about, swearing, getting mad, and breaking things, I managed to put the letters together. Yay! Wait, what the fuck is death duty? Oh. I see. It's another word for inheritance tax. I've never heard that term in my life before. No wonder this bit was the bit that stumped me. I then have to go to the dining room and fuck this! I hate this! Fuck! Seriously. This is the most boring fucking thing I've ever done. Who is it for? Really? Who? Old people? Old people don't play games on computers. They do word searches and crosswords and shit. Both of which are more challenging, worthwhile, and entertaining than this wank. And even if they have to be playing a video game, even if they have to find one that's perfect for them for one reason or another, there are way better games than this that let you play at your own pace. Couldn't they play like Harvest Moon or The Sims or a point-and-click adventure? Even a turn-based RPG, because anything is better than this. Even if you can't play it, it's better than this. I can feel my life slipping through my fingers whilst playing this. I know that every second that I play this is another second that I'll never get back. And no other game makes me feel this depressed about everything. Nothing gives me the kind of existential weight that this game does. Not even the shit that Phoenix put out make me this nauseous. In my top 5 and my bottom 5 games of last year, I said that hidden object games are, in general, terrible. And in truth, I've actually done a bit of research based on that, because after hearing it back to myself a couple of days or a couple of weeks after, I had to question myself, is this true? Is making such a blanket statement fair? I've seen games like The Room, True Fear, Forsaken Souls, which is apparently decent, and Morphopolis. That looks absolutely stunning visually. Then, there's this boring shit. Bottom line, I'm not sure about the genre anymore, but I can tell you this. I've never played any game of any genre that has produced anything worse than this. This isn't even funny bad, this is excruciatingly painful. I then play the easiest game of Scrabble ever and end up with this as a reward. Having to go back to this fucking garden. I want to die. I want to die really badly. Like, I don't care how anymore. A Drano cocktail would do me fine right now. You know what I'd actually rather do than this? I'd rather watch the My Little Pony cartoon than this. Not the new one, that apparently has gotten some praise, but I personally don't like it. I mean the really shit 80s one. I think it's G2 or G3, I don't know. But I'd take either of those shows over this. Because this is so fucking dreadful that few things are worse to me.
The princessy way, wearing crowns of gold. Every one of us a wonder to behold.
Then we go to this mystic room. And at this point, I just sort of broke down whilst playing it. Oh, here we go. The mystical thing. Gold charm bracelet. Wait, did I solve the mystery? I don't know. I don't really care. Gold charm bracelet. Fucking hell. I don't care. I don't care about any of this. I really don't. I don't give a fuck. I hope whoever did this murder gets away with it. And I hope the person who was murdered suffers. Because at this point, I just stopped giving a shit. What did I even find then? I don't know. I really don't know. I think it was the gold necklace. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care about any of this, and I just want it to end. I just want to do anything else. Fuck this game. Fuck it to oblivion. I hope Molag Bal then fucks it up the arse. I hate this game. I hate the developers that made it. I hate everything to do with this game. I hate Agatha Christie for inspiring it. I never want to play a game like this again. I'd rather receive a blowjob from Mylena than play this travesty. I'd rather be fingered by Freddy Krueger. I'd rather be fisted by a flesh pound. Or give John Goodman analingus. Join me next time when I'll be playing anything but this. This game can lick shit.
Without grasping it, the real question to be asked, where have I been? I'm a sharpshooter at Post Masquerade, hiding both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter. What else should I be? Please don't take off my mask, revealing dark.
And yes, it's true that you are a princess too.
Fuck off! Why don't you fuck the fuck off?